If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you are here. Tonight, we have another show for you. Tonight, we're going to be talking about, do you take action on what your business requires? Do you? Do you really? Do you think you do? Are you kind of beating yourself up thinking that maybe you don't? We're going to talk about really in the places and spaces where you may be, you may not be, and how we can actually move you forward. What I want you to know, by the end of this show, you are going to feel like you know exactly what you need to be doing and you know exactly how to do it. I'm your host, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network. I'm so grateful that you are here. We're going to have a fabulous show tonight. We are going to be talking all about business. I've been doing my show now for, I think I'm going into my 12th year of having my own show where I'm talking either on the radio or I am on a podcast or now even on TV. So if you are listening live, we would love to invite you to come join us at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Just click on the menu bar where it says chat room and come on in. We will take your questions. You can even call in and talk live with me if you have some questions about business. I'm completely open to having those questions. Or if you just want to be listening and observing, you're welcome to do that as well. So tonight we're going to be talking about all about business and all about what you can be doing and what you can be doing that will really make a huge difference in your business. All right. How many of you are out there are actually in your own business? Hands up. You know, being in your own business is absolutely a gift, and it can be a big challenge as well. And you know what? Business can be so much fun. It can be so pleasurable. But what's really important is that you pay attention to the places and spaces where there are challenges. There's so many gifts in challenges. And especially when you're in your own business, those gifts can actually show you what else is truly possible. And, you know, for me, business is pleasure. It's always been pleasure. If you haven't heard this story before, when I was a little girl, I used to play in my dad's office. And my younger brother, I would set him up over with the typewriter, and I would have the adding machine and the briefcase. And I was being the boss, just like I watched my dad be the boss. And when I graduated from college, my mother bought me a beautiful briefcase. And it warmed my heart so much because it brought me back to that moment of being a young child. And you know what? That's what those beautiful energies, those beautiful pleasure energy, those beautiful play energies are what you can have in your business all of the time, but you've got to choose it. And you've got to really be willing. You've got to be really willing to stretch yourself. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight is going to speak to the entrepreneur. If you are an entrepreneur or you're someone who is thinking about, I think I might like to start my own business. You're getting an idea of something. You're getting a hit around something. This show is going to be for you. And what's so important is that you understand that everything is possible. Just because you've never been in business or things haven't been great, please know that it's possible. It's all possible. And I'm here to help you. This is something I love to do. I love to encourage people and give them hope and show them that things can change, and they can change a heck of a lot faster than we've ever imagined. Here's one of the biggest challenges with being an entrepreneur is you're a solopreneur. You're by yourself. The majority of people who are entrepreneurs are solopreneurs, and they are actually, maybe sitting in an office by themselves, or maybe they're in the room of their home that they've turned into an office, or maybe they're at their kitchen table. That's where I started with my business, is you're by yourself. And oftentimes it feels like you're alone. And when you're alone and you've just started something new, oh my gosh, that is one of the most challenging times because you don't know what you don't know. Well, here's the first thing that I want to share with you is what's so important is that you're willing. You're willing to honestly look at what's going on, and you're willing to continue to stretch yourself each and every day to be a fabulous entrepreneur. And one of the things of being willing to do and take action for your business and what your business requires. This is one of the first things your business requires. Your business requires for you to take action every single day. Your business requires for you to continually evaluate, where are we at? Where am I at as the leader of this company? So I'm going to start with some really small basics. Tell me something. How do you view your business? Do you talk about it as if it's a hobby? Do you talk about it as it's, I'm trying this thing out. If it doesn't work, I'm going to go back to my other job. At least I've got something else to fall back on, right? Do you talk about your business in that way, or do you not even talk about it? I know a lot of people that, they're trying, literally trying to be in their own business, but they don't even want to come out and talk about it and share about it very much because they're worried that if they fail, then they would have lost face. You know what? Your business requires for you to have its back. Absolutely 100%. Last week, our show was all about, do you have your business's back? And do you have your own back in business? These are so important things. So today is January the 26th, 2022. So you can go and check out last week's show. So that would have been the 18th, I believe it was. Just go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and find the podcast, and you'll be able to hear that show. It was a great show, and I shared a ton of tips around how to have your own back and how to have your businesses back. Or check out your favorite podcast location, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm sure you'll be able to find the show there. So it's Inspired Choices with Christine McIver. So it's so important that you understand how crucial you are to your business. Now, a lot of people, when we first start in business, and I did this as well, we're looking outside of ourselves. We're looking outside at what other people are doing, what other people are saying, how they're creating their business, what they're pricing things at, how they're showing up. And we start to go, oh, somewhere in our brain, especially if we don't have the confidence, somewhere in our brain, we're going, oh, that's how I'm supposed to do it. That's how it's done. And so we start to use them as a template for how we show up in our business and how we do it. There's nothing wrong with learning from somebody else. And that's why I do the show that I do, because I do want to contribute to other people and share what I know and share what I've gone through. But here's the thing. Use what other people are doing, listen to what other people are sharing, and then before you do anything, check in with you. Check in with you. And here's a couple of things that I want you to differentiate. When you check in with you, if you get a trigger, if it really ticks you off, do not ignore that. That is a signal that there is something in there for you that you need to grow through. It's so important. You need to grow through that. Now, if it's something that's kind of like flat, you don't get a hell yes, or you don't get a, I'm so mad. It's probably not for you. It probably doesn't match what you are requiring right at this time. So let it go. Think of it like this. Have you ever bought a book and you thought, oh my God, that sounds like a great book, and you get it and you set it down and you don't even see it sitting there for months, weeks, months, maybe even years. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, that's the exact book I need to read right now. How cool is that I have it? Things will show up for you when it really pops. So when it really ticks you off, or when it really pops, those are where you're going to find some nuggets to really contribute to you. Okay. So pay attention to that and understand that sometimes There's going to be things that aren't going to be speaking to you. So you always want to check in with you. While other people have a great deal of ideas, and there's lots of people, there's people that have always been in business longer than you. And there's always going to be businesses that have been going on for centuries and centuries. Okay. This is nothing new. No matter when you start your own business, there's always going to be somebody that has already been in business that you can learn and grow from. But this is the key. It has to match what you require. So don't try to push yourself into being like that person, or push yourself into the way that they work their business, because if it doesn't ring true for you, it's not going to be successful. An idea needs to pop. An idea needs to have an invitation. And the invitation can be triggering or very joyful, bring you a great deal of joy and excitement. Both gift to you. So you are the most important authority in your life and in your business. And as the owner, as the CEO of your business requires you to step up. Your business requires you to be the CEO. The CEO who is going to look at this in a serious way, who's going to really respect this business, who's going to be willing to go the extra mile for this business. Can you say that you even see yourself as the CEO of your business? Can you? I can tell you, when the very first time someone ever said that to me about me being the CEO of my business, it threw me back. I mean, it took my breath away. And what that showed me over time as I was growing through that challenge is, what it showed me was I didn't have the confidence as yet to be able to say, I'm the CEO of Inspired Choices and of Inspired Choices Network. I didn't have the confidence. So what was the gift in that? The gift in that was to invite me to grow into that role, to invite me to challenge myself to be a CEO, and to really look at what is a CEO and how does a CEO behave? What's different from being the owner to being the CEO? What's different from being the main cook and bottle washer to being the CEO? That's one of the biggest things that your business requires. And that's what your business needs from you to take action. You've got to see yourself in a whole new light when you step into having your own business. Now, most people are very skilled at one set of things, whether you're an artist, whether you're a coach, whether you are a healer, whether you are, some kind of expert. That is fantastic. And that you can go into your own business. You can put up your own, you can make your own business card. You can put up your own sign, and you can step into that role. But here's the thing. Making you an expert at what you can sell or sell as a service or a product does not make you a CEO. And that's the gap where we need to be paying attention. And this is where our business requires us to step up. I hope this is making sense. There's a lot more things that I want to share with you, and share with you some stories about my own journey in really stepping into what my business requires. I hope you'll stick around. We've got a lot more for you. We're going to go take our first break, and we'll be back right after that. If you are watching us on Facebook, come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room, and you can continue to join us here in the chat room and also in the recording studio. I would love to have you do that. So until then, stay tuned. You're listening to Christine McIver on Inspired Choices on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with Coach Christine McIver, You'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, yes. Welcome back to the program. My friends, I am Christine McIver. Tonight, we're talking about, do you take action on what your business requires? Now, the very first thing is that you've got to be willing to look at this. You've got to be willing to really get present with what's going on in your business and being willing to examine what is required and then being willing to take action. You know, nobody said you had to be perfect in your business. Nobody's perfect in their business. I've known people that has made, millions of dollars being in their own business, and they mess up all the time. Here's the number one thing that's required is that you keep showing up. You must continue to show up. And that is the very first thing that your business requires. The next thing is you've got to be willing to challenge yourself. Are you willing to challenge yourself? If you are doing your business and it's just a hobby, you just do you and have fun. But if you require or desire even greater awareness and greater success, then you've got to be willing to not only show up, but also to continuously challenge yourself. Now, as a soulpreneur, you are the chief cook and bottle washer. You're doing practically every single solitary thing your business requires. And your business requires for you to challenge you. Are you doing that? Are you challenging yourself with how you show up in your business? Today, we have so many people that have started their own business, which is so amazing. And they're doing it from their own home. That's fantastic. It really, 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 really is. But the majority of those people haven't a clue on what needs to be done. And that's where you have to want to lean in and grow yourself and challenge yourself. You've got to be willing to be vulnerable with yourself. And you've got to know that what you're doing every single day is either adding to your business or taking it away from your business. And that may be hard to hear, but it's the absolute truth. You are the key to every single solitary thing in your business, what goes right and what does not go right. And you've got to see that you're the common denominator in your business. You are, whether it's you're the soulpreneur or you've got hundreds of team members, staff members, employees, whatever the case may be. If you are the creator of this business and the entrepreneur and the leader of the business, the CEO of the business, it's all at your feet. And so is all the pleasure. And the key is that you continuously are looking at you. I want you to think of it like this. If you had a business and let's say you had 100 employees and you were the CEO and you had the CFO, the chief financial officer, maybe you had a a creative director, a marketing director. You had all of these top executives, right? And then underneath them were department heads and then employees and so on and so forth that made up your 100 employees. You would be having meetings with your executive team, and you would be holding each and every one of these people accountable to their job, right? Because you hired them to do a job. They have duties that they need to be executing on. They have key, oh my God, my brain is just going blank. I'm so sorry. They have markers that they have to hit, and they have performance markers that they must reach, and so on and so forth. They need to be held accountable for what their team is doing, and so on and so forth, because each person makes up the entirety of the business and everyone contributes to the business. So you would definitely hold those people accountable. And if you're not, you need to smarten up and you need to hire somebody that teaches you how to do that. But that's another show. But if you have these employees and you're holding them accountable, you absolutely expect them to be doing their jobs, right? Why would you pay them money if they're not doing their job? You wouldn't, right? You wouldn't do that. Well, here's the thing, my friends. If you are the CEO and you're the solopreneur, or you have a small, intimate organization where you do play a number of different roles, you have to be willing to hold yourself accountable as the CEO to your other roles. And it's not easy, but it is required. It is 100% required. Without you holding you accountable, you're not going to grow, and you're definitely not going to succeed. There's so many different parts, many different parts that are moving and changing, and all sorts of different things that are happening in an organization. And you need to know what's required now and what can wait and what is critical. That is one of the biggest things that is required. And you need to figure out how to know that. You absolutely do. You have to figure that out. You need to be able to take action in a strategic way, not just wake up and respond to emails. How many of us have done that, right? I absolutely have. I just wanted the noise to go away. So you just wake up and you respond to an email and you finish out what you have to do there, and you make a little post on social media, and you like pay a couple of bills, and you're like, okay, I don't want to do anything else. Well, guess what? Every day that you do that you just come in and you respond to what's in front of you, every day you start to diminish your business just a little more and a little more. You're being a follower to what's going on in your business. You're not being a leader. So that's another thing that's required, is you need to be the leader in the organization, and you need to be able to call yourself out on, hey, you know what? You're not being a leader right now. You are actually not stepping up and doing what's required. Yes, we're tired. Yes, we have a lot of things to do. Yes, these people are contacting us. Yes, the housework needs to be done. Yes. But this is your business. This is your livelihood. This could also be your legacy. Is that something that actually intrigues you, to have your business be your legacy? If it does, it's time that you take you seriously. And it's time that you start having your businesses back and you be the voice of your business. And that requires you to hold every single person accountable within your organization. You have to take your business seriously and take each role seriously. So this is what I want you to think about. If you're a solopreneur and you don't have any employees and you don't hire any third-party providers, and it's really just you, if you're not acting in a way that you have these defined roles and you're not following through on these defined roles, then they're not going to be created for when your business requires you to hire them. So for instance, when I first started out in my business and I not in my personal business, because my personal business, when I say my personal business, is where I started. I was doing coaching and I was doing HR work. And so that was really a one-person job. But when I started the Inspired Choices Network and I started to produce, that's where I started to bring employees on. Okay. And so what's really important to know is that when I first brought some people on, right, I didn't have the roles defined. I didn't have the job duties laid out. I didn't have how much time each of those tasks should be taking. I didn't have all of these things laid out and a process for the team to follow and for me to double check that they were actually doing their job to ensure that the processes were being completed, but also seeing where that they're growing or where maybe they need some more support. I didn't have a system in place to support the growth of the company. So when you, as the CEO, when you start to operate as the financial person in the company, as the marketing person in the company, as the production person in the company, and you start to put processes and systems in place for what you need to do in each of those roles, and you're actually writing them down, they're called standard operating procedures. And they actually don't take as long as they sound. It sounds a little more formal than it is, but you just start to write down, you just start to list down the different steps in each of the roles. And as you do that, you will also see where you're maybe haven't been following through on some things or where you have been succeeding. It's a really good checkup for you. But as you have these completed, as your business, if you're desiring for your business to grow and you have these systems in place, it's going to be so much support for you and for your team members as you bring them on board. I hope that's making sense. So that's one of the things that's required. Now, that's not an urgent thing. That's not a critical thing, unless you plan on hiring somebody tomorrow. What some of the critical things is like making sure that you're paying your invoices on time so that you're saving money, you're not being charged interest, or getting your taxes done correctly, right? You need to hold yourself accountable to have a system for your accounting. And so that you're not burning the late night hours or the late weekends and then impacting your body, your mental, your family, all of the rest of that. Put these systems in place. If you are buried under tasks, you're not going to be able to grow your business. And if you're buried under tasks, you're certainly not going to have the desire to go the extra mile to help to grow your business, are you? Get organized. There's no excuse for not being organized. And I don't mean you need to take the whole thing on all at once. Start to break it down. Make a list. I have a list. I've got a list going every single day. I've got a list of the things that are required, the things that I want to pay attention to and focus on, and what's important. What's the most important thing there? In order for me to move to this thing, I need this other thing done. A big piece of being in your own business is being willing to be held accountable. Now, we know customers and clients are going to hold us accountable, right? They're going to hold us accountable for the services that we provide, for the products that we provide, or they're going to hold us accountable by leaving. They're just not going to be in business with us anymore. And when that occurs, that's not a bad thing. That's actually a time to lean in and go, okay, was I following my business philosophy? Was I following my belief systems? What's important? What's our mission? What is my mission in my business? Am I following that? Was this person a great fit, or was there a mismatch? If there was a mismatch, are you actually clear? Are you clear around the best fit for your organization, the best customer or client? Who are you looking to be in to bring you business, to actually hire you? Do you know who that person is? Do you know what you require in that person to be in order to be in business with you? You've got to get clear about these things. And the very cool thing is, no matter what I talk about tonight and all the different things that I am suggesting, all you need to do is write them down, just like the list that I showed you. Write all of the things down that I'm suggesting, and then just read it over. And whichever one pops for you right away, just put a star beside that and start there. And then tomorrow, look at the list again. If you've completed that first one, then choose the next thing that pops. Don't go up here. Literally, what pops off the page? What's the first thing that your eyes catch? Start there. Start there and really be willing to do what's required in that space. I'm going to be talking about a lot more things after the next break, but the one thing that I want to really encourage you to do, and this is something I have done all my whole business life, is hire a coach. Work with a business coach, work with someone, not just take courses. Taking courses is great, but you don't get vulnerable usually when you're in courses, and nobody's looking at your business directly when you're in a course. Hire a coach. Whether you hire a coach for a month, 6 months, a year, hire a coach who is going to work with you directly, who's going to hold you accountable, and who's going to support you to move forward. Remember, you're not an expert in every single solitary area. You're just not. You're great at what you do. A coach is great at what they do. I always give anybody that's interested a half an hour where we will talk about what they're looking for, what they need, to see if there's a good match. I would love to support you. I would love to really be there to help you to move forward and make your dreams come true in your business so that you can enjoy your business each and every day and have a strategy on what you need to do going forward. Don't just throw things to the wind and see what sticks. It's so, so important. You've got a strategy for your business. You know what direction you're going, and you know what you need to be doing. Okay, this is Christine McIver here on the Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network. Come on back. We're going to talk a lot more about do what's required and take action for your business. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, I so love doing my show. I really, really do. And you know, one of the biggest reasons I love doing my show is because it holds me accountable to keep showing up. Is anybody holding you accountable to keep showing up in your business? If you've ever thought about possibly having your own show, the idea of being on the radio, being on a podcast, having a TV show, guess what? You can join a free class that I'm going to be putting on very, very shortly. We were just getting the fine-tuning details completed. We should have it done within the next week. And that is me holding myself accountable saying that, just so you know. That's one of the ways you can hold yourself accountable, by telling people you're going to have something done at a certain time. Anyways, so you can join that free class, and then you and I will connect and we'll talk about the different opportunities and what we deliver here on Inspired Choices Network. We broadcast conscious voices to the world. We assist conscious business leaders in bringing their voice to the world and creating even greater in their business. It's something I love to do, and it's absolutely something that Inspired Choices Network is known for. So what are you waiting for? Reach out. You can check the copy here in this podcast. There's a link there. You can register, and as soon as that course is ready, we'll get that sent out to you. What are you waiting for? What do you have to lose? Guess what? The course is absolutely free. It's a $1,500 value and it's free. So come on over, register, and share this with people that you know that are struggling with doing a show, putting together a podcast, and would love to have even greater reach in the world. I would love to share that with you. Okay, so let's get back to tonight's show. So tonight's show, we're talking about, do you take action on what your business requires? So one of the greatest things about, we talked about in the first two segments, we talked about the basics, where you need to begin and how you need to be taking your business seriously and be having fun at the same time, really putting your systems in place and really being willing to work those systems and hold yourself accountable. Those are some very important steps. Now we're going to go into the next bit. And the next bit is about looking at really challenging you to grow. If you have bigger desires, you've got to be willing to, first of all, listen to your own authority. If something lights you up, be willing to take a step towards it. You don't have to know how it's going to fit or what it's going to mean or any of the rest of it, but be willing to take a step towards it. So here's what I want to tell you. There's lots of things always popping all around us. If something really keeps coming to you again and again, be willing to lean into it and look into it more and more, okay? Be willing to do that. Don't follow every single ball that's out there. Write it down. Even the things that interest you and intrigue you, write it down, and then be looking at it when it pops again. This is showing up again for me. That's really interesting, and lean into it. You don't have to know exactly how it's going to fit. So let me explain this to you. When I went to college for human resources, and I became a human resources specialist. I, ran this human resources board in my community. I worked on that board. I became the director of human resources in an international company. And, there was great many employees part of that company. I worked with a lot of different executives. I was really, I thought I had made it, right? I had the title, I had the office, I had, the paycheck, all the rest of it. And things changed for me. I was not happy in the long run in that job. It wasn't as fulfilling as I imagined it to be. Change happens. It's okay. So I stepped back and I started to look at starting my own business. So this was in 2008. So I thought about what I really wanted to do and what really popped for me in human resources. What I loved about human resources was working one-on-one with the people, directly with the people. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of rules and regulations and health and safety. There's all sorts of things in human resources that you have to do. And my favorite part was working directly with the people. It wasn't just doing all the different paperwork. So I wanted to incorporate that into my business. That was a big piece. So I went and I took a professional coaching training program, and that training program took 5 months, and it was so personal at evolving me and really teaching me what it's like to be coached, intimately coached, and what it's like to coach someone else very, very intimately. I absolutely loved it. And it was like, even though it was really challenging, I knew I could feel the joy that was happening within me as I was growing. So then I started my own business, and I started to do one-on-one coaching with individuals. And at the same time, I was hired to do a little bit of human resources work for some smaller organizations, where I got to go in and set things up and put things in place and give them some coaching. And that's what I love to do. So that was going along really, really well. And then the next thing I knew, someone called me and asked me if I'd ever thought about having my own radio show. Well, I can't even tell you everything in my body just, oh my God, it was on fire. It was so excited. My body was so excited. And it took me by surprise. And I was drawn into that. So the next thing you know, I've started my own radio show, and I'm talking a lot about the things that I was actually coaching about, which is most of us do that, right? We talk about what we're good at. We talk about what we're doing. And then as time went on, I was presented with the opportunity to produce. Now, let me be really clear. The very first thing that came into my mind when that opportunity was presented to me was like, are you kidding me? I'm a business coach. I am a professional coach. I'm a human resources professional. I'm not going to produce. Like, hello, my ego much? It was so loud. It was crazy. And then I was like, hold on a second. So the CEO stepped in, and the CEO said to me, which was me, hold on a second here. You want to grow and you want to look at new opportunities. Why don't you just ask some questions? Just ask some questions. So that's what I did. I started asking some questions. I started challenging myself to learning about it. It wasn't an absolute yes right out of the gate, but I wanted to challenge myself to ask more questions. So that's what I did. And as I was asking these questions, I started to step into it. And it was really required of me to get out of my own way in order to grow, to look at a new opportunity. How many times are you willing to look at new opportunities with an open mind, with an open heart, to see if that will actually be a contribution to you and to your business? Most of the times we don't. We've decided this is what our business does. This is what I do, and that's it. And we think, well, that's just crazy. Well, here's the crazy thing is that here I am years later. I've been producing since 2014. So what, 7 years? And Inspired Choices Network just had its 5th birthday. So my own broadcasting platform, my own network, where we now do TV as well. We've just been doing TV now for 1.5 years. I have my own broadcasting platform. We are on more than 250 platforms, TV, live radio, and podcasting combined. Holy mackerel, how is that in alignment with what I do? Well, guess what? It's the people that we attract to what we do. Conscious leaders that are leading the way in contributing to others in the world, whether it's about their bodies, whether it's about their mental health, whether it's about their finances, whether it's about their businesses. We are doing exactly what I started out doing, is supporting other people and contributing to other people. And now I'm doing it on a global basis. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is I couldn't see that this is what was going to be created. But what I was willing to do and started to hold myself accountable to was asking more questions and being willing to hold myself accountable, to lean into opportunities and to really see if it could be a contribution. So your business requires you to have an open mind and an open heart. Your business requires you to be greater tomorrow than you were today. Your business requires you to be the best leader the business could ever have. You've got to see yourself as someone who is responsible for the success of your business. Yes, you might be working out of your kitchen table. Show up like you're the leader. Look like the leader every day. Show up on time. Have a proper process where people aren't just allowed to knock on your door and interrupt you. Family is not allowed to just call you up and bother you. You're not delving into things that if you were working for somebody else in their office, you would not do. Hold yourself accountable to that. Your business requires that. Your business requires for you to honor and respect it so that it can contribute to you. This is about a relationship, the relationship with you, with the CEO, the CEO's relationship with the different roles in the organization, and the relationship between the CEO and the business. These are some of the things that are required, and it's very easy to begin to do that. We're up to our last break of the show. When we come back, I'm going to give you some ideas on what you need to do and ensure that you are doing each and every day so that you can move into being the CEO and the person that's leaving a legacy in your business. You're listening to Christine McIver here on the Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, welcome, 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 my friends. I'm so glad you're joining us tonight. It has been a fabulous show, and it's certainly something that I hope is contributing to you, because you know what? When you are actually succeeding in your business, you're actually contributing to the world, and you're not only contributing to your own world, but you're contributing to the world around you. You are able to be a contribution just by being joyful, just by you being happy in your own business. It's that simple. That's how you can be contributing to the world. So I did promise that I would give you lots of tips on what you can do to really step in and have your own businesses back. All right. I ran this course. It was called, oh my gosh. I can't remember the name of the course. I'm sorry. It was about business, but the very first module was meet yourself at the boardroom. So the very first thing that I want to ask you to do and really encourage you to do is to sit down, sit in a different place that you normally would. Don't sit at your desk, sit at a different place that you would, and have a board meeting with yourself. Sit down and write out all the different roles that are within the organization. Write out the roles and start to write out some of the things that you do under each of those roles, right? This is not a judgment. This is just facts. You're just putting down the facts. Start to look at all the different things that you are doing, okay? And then start to examine where it is that you definitely know you need to be growing. What are some of those tasks that you're not doing great, have been avoiding, or you are doing, but you're just doing it whenever it fits into your world, okay? Immediately start to do that. The other thing that I did mention earlier, which I need to kind of go back on, is show up on time. Set a time every day for your business. Set business hours. You know why you do that? Because you start to take yourself more seriously. You give the energy of, I'm taking this seriously. I am showing up. I'm not showing up in my pajamas. I'm not showing up with just a nice top and my pajama bottoms. I'm not doing that. I am showing up. I am a professional. You want to hold yourself accountable to show up as the CEO in your business. Now, you maybe don't want to have all your glam on, all your makeup and your hair and all of that done, but you need to show up as a professional. You show up on time and you show up as the CEO. That's most important. Get into that habit every day, every day, every day. Take it seriously. All right. And then when you are taking it seriously, you're going to be very present with your business. So then let's go back to writing out those tasks. So go and actually sit at your own boardroom table, whether it's your kitchen table or you go out to a coffee shop and you're in the corner by yourself but you're in a different space and you're taking yourself very, very seriously and you've got your businesses back. Your business requires this. So write down all of the different roles and all of the tasks under the roles that you are doing. Identify where you need support. Identify where you need growth, where you need to learn more. Identify what you're doing great and what you could get even better at doing. Please, this is not about criticism. This is about proper evaluation. As a business owner, you need to be evaluating where you're at and what you're doing well and where there are gaps. This is a normal evaluation. This is not about hurting your ego. This is about supporting you to know where to grow into. Okay. The next thing is when you identify what it is that you need to be, where you can be growing and what you need to be doing to grow, is then identify what actions you could be taking. I'm not saying about taking them. I'm saying what actions you could be taking. So when you're doing that, it's like, okay, so I could do this. I could do that. I could do this. I could do that. And as you start to play with those different areas of what you could do, something is going to start to pop. As you're identifying what you are doing or what you need to be doing, the really cool thing is just by identifying it, is you're actually sending that out to the universe. Now, I want you to start seeing yourself actually succeeding in that area where you need to grow. You want to get vibrationally aligned with what you are desiring, because that's when things start to line up. And before you know it, there's going to be an opportunity to get that support. So there are so many different things, but those are some really, really big things to start to do, my friends. Get organized, give yourself the space. Take yourself seriously and take your business seriously. Next week, I would love for you to join us. We're going to be talking about every choice can add or subtract from your success. Yes, it's a continuation of the shows that I have been doing, but I want you to know that where you take action, it will add to the success of your business, or it will take away from the success of your business. Knowing that, being willing to identify that, can make your life so much easier. Please learn from me. Please take all the knowledge that I have to share so that you save yourself more time and more energy, and you start to be in more joy and pleasure with your business faster. You know what? When you are willing to do that, you've got your businesses back, and your business requires for you to have its back every single solitary day. My friends, it's been a joy to be with you. Please connect with me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. You can find me on any social media platforms. You can also find me on all sorts of podcasts and TV platforms. I would love to hear from you. Please reach out. And remember, my friends, until next week, you can always make another choice. Take very good care of yourself. Bye for now, my friends.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.